and welcome to Cosmetics Business in Conversation with Goldn. I'm Julia Ray, editor of Cosmetics Business, and it is my great pleasure today to be joined by Ude Eberlein, CEO of Goldn, and Ariana Andrews, who is head of sales and marketing. Hi both, it is great to see you again.
Hello there. Hi, Julia.
Hi, Julia. Thank you. Thanks for having us again.
Our pleasure, wonderful. So when we last talked in September 2021, because this is of course the second video that Goldn has run with us, you were about to launch the Goldn Product Builder, which is the cosmetic product creation platform. So tell us a bit about the launch and of course what's happened since.
Great. Yeah, I'll take this one. Thanks, Julia. Yes, of course, we spoke in September, and that was the month when we launched the Goldn Product Builder as the first part of our platform where beauty brands and cosmetics creators can create products. And, we launched this 7 months after we founded the company. So I want to say, thank you to my team. It's quite an achievement to build something, in such short time. And, it was successful. If I can just give you a little bit of some metrics before I talk about what it actually does, we've been able to attract almost 500 users in that short time since September. We have, over 150 companies active on the platform. They're actively, creating briefs in that first release, because in the product builder, what they can do, they can work through the concept phase. So we're really attracting professional creators and brand builders who can work through that concept phase, ideate what product they want to build, and basically create that product brief, find suppliers. And basically then, we've also provided them with a pretty thorough list of suppliers that they can contact. And it's really been successful so far. We see that there's a good amount of time being spent on those briefs. And, we have a pretty engaged user base around the product builder. And what we're seeing is that there's also now a demand on the supply side to come on board. And that's our second phase. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But, what's important to note is that that product builder is the first phase. It's free. I forgot to mention that. It's actually a free piece of software. So there's no charge to come on board and do everything I just described. And, we're now launching new features, and we'll get to new functionality, I think, a little further in this discussion. But, there's professional product development features coming. So I think those that came on board in September, thank you, everybody. If there's somebody listening who's actually using it right now, thank you for that. And we want to encourage you to stay and keep coming back because we keep adding functionality. In terms of what else has happened since September, we also announced a partnership with Evonik, a very innovative, large chemical ingredient supplier who does a lot more than just, that, all services around, ingredients for cosmetics and of course other verticals. That's exciting for us because this is a big company really, giving us support and, not having a stake in, not having a big say in what we do, but really interested in what we're developing for this industry that they can participate from. And then last not least, what's been happening since September, we've gone out and we're securing additional funds for the company. So we're about to close an investment round in the next couple of months. I want to say it's been a process. It takes time to raise venture money. But we will use that money to, go forward and accordingly build out functionality, add to the team, and really make our mark in this space.
Wow.
So that's a lot.
I mean, I can't believe you guys have found time to sleep. That's incredible. So despite the rise in digital technologies, particularly in, for example, beauty retail, observationally, there still seems to be relatively few options where brand managers and product developers can go online for their product development needs. How true is this from your experience?
Well, I mean, it speaks to the whole reason why we're building Goldn. It's, there aren't many options for brands and professional creators. That there are not a lot of options that are holistic and collaborative in view of product development. So there is no one-stop shop. And sure, Goldn today is not a one-stop shop yet either. We'll get there step by step, and the product builder was the first step of that. But there are many different great, platforms and softwares out there where you can be, where you can do specific things. And I think I said this once before. We're not trying to displace these companies. There's great innovation out there, and there's great softwares and teams that we can work with and partner with as we build up this platform. But the problem is that a lot of these users that use some of these specific singular solutions, they have to be trained in those areas, in formulation, in compliance. So they're not really, these solutions aren't necessarily helping brand managers or purchasing managers or at the manufacturers, because they're catering to a crowd that's mainly technical. And a lot of these people now creating new products, a lot of these, not people, companies, they have a background in business or marketing or product development. So that's a challenge. And now that we're also seeing increasingly that some of these consultancies and agencies are going online, so to speak, with websites and marketing funnels, but are serving different clients and making beauty products, essentially it's still happening offline. We're trying to accelerate bringing that online, and that's what Goldn will do. So I think I said at the beginning, we set out to build a one-stop shop. We're not there yet, but we're going to get there step by step. And today we're going to also talk about what the next version, the next iterative version of Goldn will do.
So you mentioned just then that Goldn is kind of responding to a need in the market that technical platforms and consultative web agencies just aren't. So can you maybe tell us a bit about that, how Goldn is going about things differently?
Yeah, I can take that one. I mean, the need that we're addressing in the market, we see it from our experience, from our point of view, this is the same need that brands have and suppliers have. So it's a need that's shared between these two groups. And I think that anybody who's worked in cosmetic development can really relate to an increased need for speed, to be more efficient, and a real desire. There's a real desire out there as well for simple, intuitive tools. And we're slowly coming out of this pandemic, we're now in a post-pandemic time, which has caused a seismic shift in the way that we all work. I think we have all experienced this to some extent or another. Some of us are spread out. Sometimes we're in different time zones. There's more remote purchasing. Sales calls have often become Zoom meetings. We're working with colleagues, yes, in office, but not all the time. And the thing is that even though we're doing more things online today, maybe than we did before, product development in the cosmetics and personal care space is still largely an analog process. So it's done offline. Or, in some cases, and I think Udo was touching on this already before, we're seeing partial digital solutions. So let me give you an example. We have suppliers that maybe have their own e-commerce store. Or we have marketplaces where you can buy services or goods from multiple different suppliers. And then we do have consulting agencies. Some of them are big, some of them are small, and some of them are maybe more digital because they have request forms that are online, or their supplier databases might be online. And some of them have phenomenal marketing, of course, but these are only partial solutions, because in these cases, where some of the businesses on the internet, most of the interactions after that initial contact are still happening offline and behind closed doors. So they're mostly consultative in nature, where the consultants are leveraging their knowledge, their networks, but the interactions, they inevitably happen offline. So in these cases, there's very little transparency. Brands and suppliers, they aren't independent in the product development process. They're navigating many of those interactions, whether it's purchasing, and then actually working the collaboration piece. They're doing that in a way that's still far from simple. And it's not fast. It's not fast for brands or for suppliers. And what we're doing at Goldn is we're creating a SaaS-enabled ecosystem. So it's online on one platform where brands and suppliers are able to find each other. They can get product and service recommendations based on data, so that they know they're connecting with the right businesses at the right time and place, and they'll be able to transact. And most importantly, they are to some extent now already able to collaborate with one another through the various phases of product development. So I think, and it's really important to say, Udo already said this before, but some of that functionality is there today. When we launched the product builder in September, we went to market already with a great deal of that functionality, and then we're developing other pieces to fill out that ecosystem, because that's exactly what it is. It's an ecosystem made of many different parts.
Fantastic. So really smoothing and simplifying that process there. So the digital beauty product development space is, of course, it's a very new one, isn't it? So how important is it for Goldn to be as responsive as possible to your users' needs while evolving the platform?
Well, it's important. It's more than important. I mean, it's an essential component to our strategy, but also to our development process. I mean, we're responding to users and developing functionality around the way people really work and the way that they really want to work. We have a very clear roadmap of what we want to build and the functionality that we want to put onto Goldn. So what brands and suppliers will be able to do on the platform to create beauty products. But it's also in many ways the market that's informing us of what we should be building for them. So the more brands and suppliers use Goldn, the more products are created, the more interactions we see on the platform, the more information we're getting from our users, either directly because they're reaching out through email or on LinkedIn, or after sessions that we have like this one, we hear from our user base directly. And we also interact with them, or we see the user behavior on the platform itself. But there's something, we talk about this quite a lot internally and externally too. I don't want to forget that. We're building Goldn so that our users, brands and suppliers, have a delightful experience. This is a platform that's easy to use, it's intuitive, and it's making product development easier. It's a delight. I think we said this before in our conversation, there are incredible technologies out there, very sophisticated, some of them highly technical technologies, but so few of the technologies that we see for this segment of the market, for product developers, for suppliers working on the creation of new beauty products, is simple and intuitive to use. So that's very important to us, where we're intentional about designing a platform so that people have a good and enjoyable experience. So in that sense, yes, user feedback is very important to us. It's not just about functionality, it's about usability as well.
What can we look out for in the coming weeks and months?
So I'll take this one, Julia, thanks. So we're moving towards our second big milestone right now, which is enabling transactions. So you will see shortly in the spring that we will enable those on the demand side, the brands and the beauty brands and the cosmetics companies, to be able to transact on our platform. In other words, buy services, etc. And what we're also working on in the spring, which is really important, is onboarding a broad set of suppliers. Like we said, ecosystem necessitates many different participants from different categories, be it distributors or contract manufacturers, white label manufacturers, or packaging companies, or regulatory sort of all formulators, all that you need in there. We will continue to onboard. Like I said earlier, we have a wait list of suppliers waiting to come on the platform. So we'd love to encourage listeners from the supply side, if contact us. You can find us at goldn.com, reach out to us. We're happy to discuss, and we're really putting a big focus on adding the supply side to make this ecosystem vibrant. But then on top of that, of course, we're discussing with many different partners, and look out for some partnership announcements, I'd say, in the next few months. That will add yet another layer of functionality or value to the platform. And we'll just continue to iteratively build this out. But like I said, I think the most imminent is us adding, and it's quite a feat to build this transaction capability on the back end for us, from implementing payment system, et cetera, and so forth. So that's what that we're working on feverishly right now, the teams, and we'll roll that out, and we'll continue to roll and add new vendors and services in that regard.
Great stuff. And as ever, I look forward to seeing what Goldn has in store, and I'm sure our listeners will be too. So thank you so much, Udo and Ariana, for joining us today. That was wonderful.
Thanks so much.
All right.
Great to have you guys here. That was Cosmetics Business in conversation with Goldn. For more interviews with leading companies from across the beauty industry, including our first interview introducing Goldn way back in September, visit our YouTube channel and hit subscribe.